fog thinned just enough to reveal shapes looming ahead. Carved stone steps, cracked and uneven, climbed toward a dark silhouette on the hill. At the summit stood a shrine, or what was left of one. Its torii gate leaned sideways, half swallowed by vines. The shrine's roof had collapsed, its wood blackened as if burned centuries ago. Charred fox statues flanked the entrance, their once proud faces melted into grotesque expressions. Riku slowed, tightening his grip on the spear. What happened here? The kitsune stopped at the foot of the steps. Her tails hung low, her expression unreadable. A place where my kind once lived, where mortals came to honor us and we protected them. Her voice carried an edge, sorrow buried under steel. Riku glanced up the ruined stairway. Looks more like a battlefield now. It was, she said simply. The first one. They climbed in silence. Each step groaned under their weight. The air grew colder, heavier. By the time they reached the top, the mist curled thick around the shrine, swirling as if aware of their presence. Inside, the walls were scorched black. Charcoal offerings still lay in stone bowls. In the center, where the altar should have stood, was only a crater of ash, but carved into the stone floor were markings. Circles, tails, flames, a mural etched deep into the earth itself. Riku crouched, running his fingers over them. What is this? The kitsune knelt beside him. Her golden eyes traced the lines. A prophecy. Her hand brushed across the symbols, 9 tails circling a flame, then breaking apart into shards. Below them, figures of mortals reaching toward the flame, some standing tall, others consumed by shadow. The fire of the kitsune was never endless, she murmured. It was meant to be shared, to keep the balance between our kind and yours. Her gaze darkened, but when war came, mortals turned against us. They took our fire, twisted it, and from it the mist was born. Riku's chest tightened. So the war wasn't just between men and spirits. It was betrayal, she finished. The word echoed through the shrine. Before he could reply, a sudden wind howled through the ruins. The ashes in the crater rose, swirling into the air like a storm. The markings on the floor glowed faintly, tails of flame circling outward. Riku stumbled back, spear raised. What's happening? The kitsune's tails bristled, her foxfire flickering wildly. Her eyes widened, not in anger but in fear. The shrine remembers, she whispered. It knows the oath. The ash coalesced into shapes, pale, human-like figures forming from smoke. Their faces were blank, their limbs jagged. They moved soundlessly, dozens of them, circling Riku and the kitsune. Riku's pulse thundered. More husks? No, she said, voice sharp. Shadows of the past, but they can still kill you. The figures began to close in, their movements jerky, their arms reaching. The kitsune lit her tails, foxfire bursting into the shrine, but the flames flickered weakly against them, as if the shrine itself dulled her strength. Riku cursed, stepping forward, spear ready. Then it's on me. The kitsune's head snapped toward him. You'll be torn apart, not if you guide me. He raised the weapon, steady now, eyes fixed on the swirling ash. You said the fire was meant to be shared. Then shared. For a moment, she only stared at him. Then, slowly, she reached out, her hand gripping the shaft of the spear beside his. Foxfire coursed down the wood, not in a blaze this time, but in controlled sparks, threading the weapon with light. The oath mark on Riku's arm burned, searing with fire that wasn't his. His teeth clenched against the pain, but he didn't let go. Together, they charged. The spear struck through the first shadow, splitting it apart in a flash of ash and light. Another fell, then another. The kitsune's tails whipped around them, lashing fire in precise strikes that carved paths through the swarm. The shrine quaked. The ash storm roared louder, screaming with voices of the forgotten. Riku's arms ached, his breath ragged, but the fire in his chest, her fire, drove him on. Finally, the last figure dissolved, its form scattering into dust. The shrine fell silent. The markings on the floor dimmed. The ash crater collapsed inward, leaving only a faint ember glowing in the center. The kitsune approached it slowly. She cupped her hands, lifting the ember. It pulsed once, faintly, before settling into a steady glow. She turned to Riku. The fire is not gone, not yet. Her voice was steady, but her eyes shimmered with something he had not seen before. Hope. Riku, panting, wiped sweat from his brow. Then maybe there's a chance. But outside, the mist thickened again, pressing against the shrine walls like an endless tide waiting to swallow them whole. The war was not pausing, only watching. The ember pulsed faintly in the kitsune's hands, its glow no brighter than a dying candle. Yet its presence filled the ruined shrine with a strange, heavy warmth. Riku leaned on his spear, catching his breath. If that's all that's left of your fire, doesn't seem like much. The kitsune closed her fingers around it. Do not underestimate it. A spark can become a storm, But even as she spoke, her tails flickered weakly. The foxfire that had once burned brilliantly was fading. She glanced toward the ember, and her expression tightened. Not reverence, something closer to dread. They descended the cracked steps, the mist parting reluctantly before them. The ember's glow painted the fog in crimson hues, like blood bleeding into smoke. "Why do I feel like the air got heavier?" Riku muttered. "Because it has," she replied. "The ember calls. The mist hears." He frowned. "You mean?" "It's like bait." Her silence was answer enough. By nightfall, they found a ruined watchtower on the edge of the forest. Half its walls had collapsed, leaving jagged stone teeth pointing toward the sky. They sheltered there, the ember resting in a stone bowl between them. Riku gnawed on a strip of dried meat from his pouch, though his stomach churned. "So we're just gonna carry that thing with us. Wave it around so the mist knows where to find us." The kitsune's gaze stayed fixed on the ember. "We have no choice. It is part of the balance. Without it, the fire dies completely. And if the fire dies, so does hope." Riku exhaled through his teeth. "You always talk in riddles." Her golden eyes lifted to his. "Then let me speak plainly. With the ember, the mist will come. Without it, the world ends quietly. Which fate do you prefer?" He couldn't answer. That night, sleep came uneasily. Riku dreamed of ash and shadow. He saw the ember blazing, no longer small but a roaring sun, splitting the sky in two. From its light came figures, not kitsune, not human, but something between, their bodies cracked with fire and smoke. They reached for him, whispering in 1,000 voices, their touch burning his skin. "Return it. Return it. Return it. Return it. Return it. Return it. Return it before it consumes you." He woke with a strangled gasp, sweat slicking his back. The ember still glowed faintly in the bowl, but for the first time it wasn't just glowing. It was pulsing, in time with his heartbeat. By morning, the forest itself felt wrong. Trees leaned toward them, bark blackened and split. Birds were silent. The mist clung low to the roots, curling like fingers. Riku adjusted his pack uneasily. "It's like the world's watching us." The kitsune's ears twitched. Her tails were tense bristled. "It is not the world." She stopped suddenly, her gaze snapping to the fog ahead. Riku followed her stare, at first seeing nothing, then realizing the mist itself was moving, a shape within it. No, not one. Many. Figures drifted in the fog, tall, crooked, faceless. Unlike the ash shadows in the shrine, these moved with a sickening grace, their limbs bending too far, their heads jerking as if broken. Each step they took darkened the mist, bleeding the light from the air. Riku's breath caught. "They're not husks." The kitsune's voice was low. "No, these are the cursed, the ones who once held the fire and fell to it." The creatures drew closer, their whispers clawing at the edges of his mind, words he couldn't understand yet felt in his bones. Hunger, claim, burn. The ember pulsed brighter, as if answering them. Riku gripped his spear, knuckles white. "We fight." The kitsune's lips pressed into a hard line. "No, we run." And the forest exploded into chaos. They tore through the trees, branches whipping their faces, roots clawing at their feet. Behind them, the cursed followed, gliding more than running, their whispers rising into a chorus. The ember's glow throbbed harder, pulling at Riku's chest, dragging his heartbeat into frenzy. Everywhere he looked, the mist warped. Trees bent, paths twisted. Time itself felt unsteady, as if the forest wanted them lost forever. Left, the kitsune barked, shoving him aside, just as a shadow figure lashed out, its arm stretching like smoke. It grazed his side, cold searing through him like fire and ice at once. Riku stumbled, choking on air, but the kitsune caught him, dragging him forward. "Do not let them touch you. The ember will not protect you. It will bind you to them." Her words stabbed through the panic. Riku forced his legs to move, the ember's cursed heartbeat rattling in his skull. They burst into a clearing at last. Moonlight spilled across cracked stones, the remains of another ruin. The kitsune skidded to a halt, tails flaring. "Here," she hissed. "Stand with me." The cursed swarmed at the edges, forming a jagged circle. Their whispers became screams. The ember flared brighter than before, casting the clearing in bloody light. Riku raised his spear, chest heaving. The kitsune's foxfire whipped to life around her. For the first time, he saw not sorrow in her eyes, but something fierce. "Yes," she said. "We survive." The shadows surged forward.